If you love music as much as we do, this episode we're talking about how AI and algorithms are shaping the way we discover creative content online and how it's impacted our sense of community in the world of online music.
So today, we wanted just to kind of record a quick conversation because we were kind of noticing our habits when it comes to musical discovery, music in general. We're both audiophiles, and thought it would be a fun opportunity to have a conversation in public about that. One thing in particular that I thought was interesting about the way that you go about music, what's up?
I don't know. I just laugh.
I remember there was like a period there where you were like kind of anti any type of recommendation.
I was trying to avoid, I was trying to like see what it would be like to listen to music more like the way the artist intended, let's say. So like listening to albums from start to finish and avoiding the feed.
Yeah.
Like, you know how like you have autoplay at the end of a Spotify playlist? Actually, that's still off. I still have that off.
Okay.
So when a playlist ends at home, there's just silence.
Yeah, you don't have the radio feature?
I do, and I don't use it too much. I do use it sometimes.
Like if you have like people over for dinner or something?
I'll use it for that.
I mean, that's the best context to use it in.
Yeah.
And you can kind of get caught in a loop for sure. And one funny thing with that is like if you just like forgot that you were playing music, it will literally just populate song after song after song after song.
Yeah, forever.
And it seems like there's sort of this infinite content loop that's being applied to all technology now where it just never stops.
Totally.
And I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense.
I don't think so. And like, you know, in Spotify in particular, like what I find a bit annoying is you don't have much control. Like I was telling you like before we started recording, you know, like I was listening to like some musical theater at one point because I had just watched Hamilton, and then it would just keep recommending other musical theater to me. But it's like, how can I tell you that I don't want to listen to musical theater? I just watched a movie that I enjoyed and I'm like re-enjoying it. And like my Discover Weekly was broken. If I like opened the day list, it was like full of random movie stuff. It was really unpleasant actually, and there was no way to stop it.
Yeah, I think that's like, you know, when Spotify first was around, AI wasn't a part of what they were offering. You would find the songs you wanted, you know, you'd get like a curated playlist that you made yourself. And now they've brought in a lot of AI components. Personally, I love Discover Weekly. I think it's super cool. It can be hit or miss, right? Like it is, you get those weeks where it's like you listen to too much like Rammstein or Hamilton or whatever random phase you were going through that week. And then the next week it's like, okay, wow, I clearly had a moment last week. But it's a great way to like discover new music that you wouldn't have otherwise found. I guess the kind of key like linchpin of the discussion is, how do you discover music?
Right.
And how much responsibility are you letting a software do in terms of your discovery? And you know, one interesting thing that's kind of unrelated, but like when I would find music in the earlier days, oftentimes the way I would find songs was through YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube was huge. I mean, for me too, honestly. Like as soon as YouTube started officially allowing music, because you remember in the beginning, music wasn't allowed on YouTube.
I honestly don't remember that. I don't remember that.
Yeah. Like the only way to listen to music was like some like fan video, and then the copyright strikes would come, and then they made official partnerships, and like Vivo Music came on and all that. So like once that hit, like YouTube really became like an engine, but also like independent musicians. It's really good for discovering like someone without a label.
Yeah, I still find that also like I'll find more niche stuff on YouTube through that suggested than I'll typically find, which is like a different modality of exploration. Oh God, I just said modality.
You're officially.
It's a different way to explore. But it also like you can find some super cool stuff that way. And the truth is, I've stopped doing that entirely. Like now I fully rely on Spotify, but I oftentimes the good stuff, like the real good stuff, I find not in the Discover Weekly, but the day list.
The day list.
And the day list is cool because it's really just like gives you kind of a curated list of songs that are appropriate for that particular day.
It's also, so I love the day list too, but like what's really cool, because I don't think people know this feature all that often, right? You've told me that like some of your friends like
It's
Yeah.
impossible to discover this stuff.
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to search it. If you get it, it gets lost in the sauce. If you
You
haven't,
get the pop-up when it comes out,
yeah,
and then it never comes again.
Exactly.
But what I love about this is that, and I think this is actually what is kind of what makes it confusing. Like its name changes every time.
Yes.
Which I love.
Yeah.
Because you open it and you're like, oh, cool. But like, is the day list? It's not once per day.
No, it's per day of the week, basically.
But it's also like morning, evening, afternoon. Like if you read the
Oh,
one,
shit. I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
notice that. That's
You didn't know
crazy.
that?
No, what?
Look, Friday afternoon, and if you open it, I think at like noon it changes.
Oh wow! Next update 5.
There it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So you get 3 different or 4 different playlists per day because it's morning, afternoon, evening, and night.
What level of processing is going on that you're getting 3 curated playlists per day?
In one playlist.
I'm starting to understand. Spotify just upped its prices. I'm not sure if you saw that.
I
They have
know.
like the most
The blue
obnoxious
screen of death.
I keep seeing it.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
yeah,
okay, maybe all this AI shit is like what's causing the price increase of
Right.
subscriptions. I did not know that. See, that's super cool. And that's another thing that I really love about Spotify is they like kind of are on the cutting edge of music discovery.
They are.
But the question is like, how do you curate something, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I have in my head a musical taste profile, and I don't feel like I can dictate that musical taste profile explicitly anywhere in Spotify.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like we've,
makes sense.
I think
You mean instructing Spotify on what music you want to listen to, right? It's all
Totally.
very reactive.
yeah, it's based off clicks and inputs, and that's like a very kind of almost subconscious way of deciding like who I am.
Right.
But I also think like music is such a personal thing.
Yeah.
That it's important that I have a say on who I want to be from a musical profile list,
I
know,
agree.
as well. Like, what if I want to like kind of explore a more classical route, but that's not something that I typically click on. It's just something that I want to become. Like, I want to learn more about classical music and become a classical
Yeah.
music connoisseur. You're kind of fighting against the system at that point.
You are.
Yeah.
It takes a long time for the Discover Weekly to make meaningful changes based on your taste as well, or maybe in my case, because maybe my band of interest isn't all that like wide. So I don't know. Like, but I have noticed that I've met friends who will tell me, "Oh, I listen to like your Discover Weekly."
Oh, interesting.
I have friends because I made mine public,
Oh, cool.
and so people like will listen to that, and I thought that was a really interesting way to expand your horizon, for example. But it's not a feature that like is made known or popular. Like imagine opening up your Discover Weekly and then it goes like, hey, you can make this public. I don't know. Yeah, so that is one thing that I've heard people do. I do that sometimes as well with
Yeah.
specific people because,
Yeah.
Um,
I think in that same vein, one of the coolest things, and I think this is really where AI actually gets particularly interesting. Like, it's cool that it can curate your tastes, but there's like some problems which you kind of touched on. But the jams.
yeah.
So in Spotify, you have this start a jam thing, which is like just great in general for parties. You show me this feature as well. But when you click on this thing, let's say I copy the link, I paste it over, or you scan the link.
Yeah.
There's the option to actually mix taste profiles.
Right.
You could have up to like, I don't know how many people you can have up to this thing, but basically your taste profiles make a baby. And to me, that's like a much cooler way of enhancing interpersonal discovery of music. And it helps avoid those kind of echo chambers of music that you can get into.
Yeah, it's like we'll put it up on the screen,
Yeah.
but you'll see like basically like the faces of the people who have like over like intersections.
Super cool.
It's super interesting. Yeah. Because you can actually make a playlist like that too.
Yeah.
I forgot there was a playlist that I used to make with someone, like with a friend.
Yeah.
And basically you would select a friend and you can make like a collaborative playlist, but not like you add a song, I add a song. It's like AI generated based on our tastes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, super cool.
Like that's something that you can't do without AI.
Right.
That AI serves a great function for.
Yeah.
And allows that sort of like discovery of shit that's outside of your bubble a little bit.
Totally. Maybe on that note, like it would be cool to jump to something that's not AI. And in my opinion, I'm still mourning the loss of this technology. A platform that no longer exists used to be my favorite place to discover music.
Yeah.
And it was called The 61. I think they winded it down in 2017. So actually, it existed while Spotify existed. And The 61 It went through many versions. So if there are any like the 61 fans on here, you know, like I don't know which version you're familiar with. This was a version I think that came towards the end. That was a revival of the original interface. Now, what was unique about the 61 was you can see on the left you have levels. So let me here like this. You actually have like levels over here, and you can from those levels. You make them by recommending songs onto the platform. So you see the hearts over there?
Yeah.
You would earn hearts for discovering music, and then you can spend those hearts to boost the music up into the public feed for everyone.
Oh, wow.
And if somebody else liked a song that you boosted, you would get like kind of like hearts back to spend on other music. So basically, if I was good at finding unpopular songs and made them popular, I would get rewarded to do that more by being given more hearts. And you could kind of add fire onto this. So you could spend up to 50 hearts on a single song to boost it. And so this was the old version. But then it changed to this version over here, which was really intense. And yeah, now in this version, you had like, over here, you could see the song that you were, whoa, I don't know what's going on with that. Over here, you could see the song that you were listening to. You could heart it there. Your level was here. And then, I can't find it in this old screenshot, but there would be something on the side here that would like that you could add called an adventure meter.
Adventure meter?
Yeah. It was super interesting. You would have the ability to be like more or less adventurous. And if you were more adventurous, you would get less popular songs.
Oh, whoa.
Like completely art house crazy stuff.
See, that's very cool. That's explicit about what type of profile you are and how you can adjust potentially.
Exactly. And again, the advantage of it was like if you spent time listening in adventure mode, you would get more hearts because they're rewarding you for putting up with like, you know, maybe not so great music or whatever.
Honestly, the thing that like kind of blows my mind with this as you're showing it to me is like there was a tool for music discovery back in the day. Not just this tool, but it was like other people.
Right.
That was the point. Is you could discover music through community, through like exploration. And I it's like literally just hitting me now. Like sure, there's some community stuff, there's playlists, but where really is the community in Spotify?
You don't feel it, right? Like you even searching for users is actually quite hard.
Totally.
Like I think,
and what's contained in a user profile? Like not that much information, at least from playlists. Yeah, I guess. But like not a whole lot of personal information.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. You can't really like customize that space, or if you really care. Like I love curating music, not just for myself, but for others. Like I genuinely will send people music randomly. And I feel like one thing that I would have appreciated was I like that identity to some degree. And so imagine I could like make that explicit, like welcome to Charlie's space.
Totally.
You know, and I can decorate it and I don't know, like start with this album, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you can't do that, right? It's all just pre-made for you.
I mean, maybe the reality is that it's like a general purpose tool, so they just decided to not go for that niche. But I think that something is lost in there. And also the thing that, you know, second layer of all of this is like you knew you would get more niche artists and you could make an intentional choice about that. In Spotify, who you get served, like what's it based off? I mean, sure, it's based off usage, but if you're an artist, like how do you know how to get discovered?
Right.
Like what does that actually mean? Like what is the process of getting discovered now?
Right.
When the thing that's curating music is a total black box to you. You kind of just have to hope that like the AI gods will favor you that day. Straight up though. Or
it's true.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think on the 61, if I'm not mistaken, people would like announce that they're on the 61.
Yeah.
And if you like love the song, to like support it. So they can like call on their fans to
super cool.
Kind of boost something, you know? And you would feel, I think you would get notifications like kudos, if I'm not mistaken. So there was something kind of weird about that, right? Like I would come back onto the 61 the next day and I would get this like sense that like 500 people love this song because of you. They would tell you that kind of stuff. And it was really nice because I would never see their usernames or their profile pictures, but you would always get this feeling that like you put something out there and someone found it. A bit like, I don't know, this video game reference maybe is a bit obscure, but you know how like in Dark Souls, you
Yeah.
can like leave hidden messages? It's not
Yeah.
really online play,
No.
but it's like ephemeral.
It's a sense that someone else has been
It's
here.
a world.
What
Exactly.
are those little stone people that are built? I feel like I should know the name.
Stone people? Or like when people stack like stones next to like water or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, we should look. I don't know what that's called.
can't
but I know
remember.
exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
And you're right.
I think it's called an Inukshuk, but
But no, that's such a nice metaphor, because when I'm walking somewhere, like when I go on a hiking trail
Yeah.
and I see one, I get this really weird sense of connectedness. It's like someone else walked here.
yeah. So I think like there are a lot of other tools. I think there's like SoundCloud and Bandcamp, and there's other places that try to like do this more sort of community thing. But I feel like the tools that are leading the way should make space a bit more for community, like Spotify and iTunes. It really does actually feel like a very personal space and not like a communal space.
Right.
And I think they could do a lot more work. Like the best feature, in my opinion, is like, let's make a baby playlist. But
Yeah.
Well, they're not, you know what I mean? We're not on a playlist for making babies. Sorry.
They should call it Mate.
Yeah, something like that, where let's like combine our DNA playlist, where it's like mixing of the playlist, and I think that's super cool. So
Yeah. And I also, I guess like in a way, like as we get more and more AI stuff, you start to really lose touch with. I'm already feeling nostalgic and missing the old, very like messy internet.
yeah,
And the AI stuff isn't gonna make that better.
no,
Right? Algorithm, like searching with AI, all this. We're gonna get like more and more curated.
Mm-hmm.
And so where's the human in the internet?
exactly.
That's the question.
Yeah, how do we facilitate connection and like exploration and community with these AI tools that are hyper focused on personalization?
Exactly.
So if you guys have any, I don't know where to look. If you guys have any, past tools you've used or you particularly love, like Bandcamp or whatever, we'd love to hear from you and see what you liked most about it and what you hope that like the new cutting edge tools are going to introduce. Otherwise, thanks for listening. I hope you were entertained, and till next time.